Geelong. Well, we continue our football theme now with a local angle, celebrating Eric Nichols' life membership to the GDFL football competition.
Eric, big congratulations on the GDFL life membership for 2013. The question is, in your opinion, was it overdue?
Oh, I wouldn't say that, Alex. You get into football for the right reasons, and you don't go in to get awards. I've loved football for over 50 years, and to win an award, it was just a huge honour, and you don't do it for that anyway.
Well, take us back to your start of your local footy career. I mean, in today's game, when a Scarlett and a Wojcinski go from the Geelong Cats into the local league, everyone's down the fence. Well, you came straight from a Bob Davis coach Geelong side into the GDFL. Was it a big deal at the time?
Oh no! I felt I was lucky enough to start at East Geelong when I was 9 in 1949. Played junior footy there. Went to Geelong, then coached Geelong West. Then felt that my kids were young, I needed to spend some time with them. If I was going to contribute to football, I needed to do it locally, and went to Bell Park, which was close to home, and I just felt I had something to give back to local footy.
Looking back on your 50 years, I do believe you've had an instrumental role locally as both a player and a coach. Is there a particular memory that outshines the other?
No, not really. You coach a premiership, you play in a premiership. You also, I was lucky enough to be involved as an assistant coach in Teal Cup and work with people like Dermot Burrett and Paul Salmon. They're household names in football, and to be involved, also Ross Lyon, would you believe? To be involved with them as kids, that's a great feeling.
Yeah. We're going through the whole career and it's endless, so hopefully we don't run out of tape. But also interleague, I believe you did coach one interleague side, am I correct?
Well, I was captain in the 60s of the Burrup Shield, which was the then Geelong District Footy League or Evelyn Hurst section. I played 4 years in a row, which was fantastic, and played under probably one of the greatest coaches that I ever met. Coached against him in Harris from Newtown, and Ron was just a sensational guy, and Ron was coach, and Ron Sells and I were captain and vice captain. To work with fellas like that was sensational. But having played local footy, I've always been an advocate for interleague football, and I was lucky enough in the 80s to coach the GDFL, and we had a win in Ballarat, and that's why I'm always, as a commentator, I'm a great advocate for interleague football.
Mentioned commentary just then. Of course, I remember, kicking the footy, listening to the Pulse in the background. Eric Nichols would give his opinion on everything the last decade at least. What have been your happiest memories in the commentary box?
Oh, look, they've been enormous, and just the people, I guess, that I've worked with. Dick Philpott, probably for the last 14 or 15 years. Jason Doherty, Laurie de Goldie, Paul Welsh. The numbers and the names are endless, and it's just been, again, the opportunity for me to put something back into local footy, and to work. And I know he's a bit biased, but to work with Noel Fanning over probably 20 years, he's put a lot back into footy too, and people don't respect that.
It was very emotional. About a month ago we farewelled you from local broadcasting, but surely there's a tiny bit of you that wants to get back into it.
Oh yes, I must confess publicly that part of I would still do it, but part of the reason is my throat. I really struggled this year with my throat. I've had some medical treatment, and personally I just don't think the throat is up to continuing, but I'll certainly be around. Like, to win a life membership of the GDFL, I feel I still need to give something back to them, so I'll perhaps be available in some small way.
Well, anyway, at all, we're always honoured to have your name in the league. Thank you very much for joining News Geelong.
Thanks, Alex. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for that, Eric. Well, earlier in the week, Dick Philpott also received an ultimate accolade in the Geelong Advertiser's Local Football Personality of the Year award.
Dick, congratulations on the award, but before we look on the night itself, take us back to your early involvement with the local football.
Gee whiz, Alex, that's from left field, mate. I started in local footy just by accident back in about 1985, 1986. I was actually, I lived next door to a former mayor of South Barwon back in those days, and a guy called Ross Stevens. And Ross said, come down and look at a bit of local footy. My normal side, Collingwood, were playing in Sydney. It was one of the first of the interstate games, and I had nothing to do on a Saturday afternoon, so he took me to watch the Barwon Bulldogs, and I must admit I got a little bit bored. It didn't do much for me, and I said to an old bloke standing in the crowd, I said, is there any side around Geelong that has black and white stripes? And he said, well, they are, but they're in the northern suburbs. They're a working man's club and nobody likes them very much. And I said, well, it sounds like my type of club. So I got out there and went and saw a game of footy out there, and the rest is practically history. They haven't got rid of me since, and here I am today.
Thankfully they haven't, because since you joined the club, well, it's my understanding that they were about to fold, but thankfully you committed with the North Geelong Magpies and saw a glorious era. Can you reflect on the turning point in the late 80s?
Well, it was, look, I can't take that much credit really. At the end of the day, they were about to fold, and pretty naive that I was, I put my hand up and said, you really just need to market the club a bit better. There was no evidence of a magpie in the room, and I always thought the magpie was a marketable type of product, whether you love them or hate them. And they gave me a year to turn it around and re-establish their branding. They're now called Geelong's Fabulous Magpies, which I introduced back then. And of course we went out and got some sponsorship, picked up some good players, a couple of coaches, Dennis Hines notably, and from then on we had some success. And it didn't take much really to turn around what was already there. The basis was there and just needed a bit of direction, and I had no idea, which sometimes that's not a bad thing. I had no preconceived bad habits in football, and we turned it around, and I just love the fact now the club is just so successful, won a few flags since then, and Jason Abib, who's now the president of the club, been for a couple of years now doing a magnificent job, and the club now has become a really family club, and their netball and football sections are just doing so good, and it's a club that you can really be proud to be associated with.
Yep. Well, even though you were rewarded with the award for your club efforts, we can't forget your role for the league in general, and of course on the media circuit. Can you take us through, I think it's been 14 years now, of the GDFL footy show?
It's hard to believe, isn't it? I had hair back then, and we did a couple of screenshots, and they came up quietly and said to me that no matter what they said to me, I said, I don't care, I still want to do it. And so we went on air, I think it was about 1999, something like that, with Jason Doherty, and it was just fantastic. Eric Nichols, of course, is one of the founders as well. We've been around a while, Eric and I, and it was really good to get on there and have a crack at local footy shows. And look, you know we've got a magnificent audience, which we can't believe it sometimes. We even turn up in Melbourne at a function and someone will say, I saw your ugly head on TV the other morning, and realise they're not talking about me, but that's okay. But I really just enjoy that footy show. It's something that's unique in country footy, and it's great to think that the local community down here can actually see their local footy league in action.
Yeah. Well, it was quite the year for you, 2013. Not only did you get, 14th year of the footy show, but of course, North Geelong break that drought. Can we finish off by just telling us what was more special, the award itself or seeing that magpie flag?
Gee, mate, you've got it tough now. I thought you were going to ask me to sing the North Geelong theme song then, so it was a bit of a relief. I can't sort of pick that of the two, because they're both a magnificent honour, I believe. Just to win the Geelong Advertiser Personality of the Year award, it is an honour. It's a great newspaper. It's a great town. And whether I know I don't barrack for Geelong, but I love the community, love this town. It's great. I have my business here. It's fantastic. And but on the other side of it, my sporting life, I do have a passion for the North Geelong Magpies, and the fact that they won the flag this year, well, combined with the two, Alex, it doesn't get much better than that.
You're absolutely right. Fingers crossed for your sake they can go back-to-back in 2014. Thanks for joining News Geelong.
Thanks very much, Alex. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for that, Dick. And that's it for sport this Friday evening. Thanks for joining, and there'll be plenty more next week. Till then, back to you, Rollo.
Thank you, Alex, and looking forward to a big summer of sport with our local coverage of lawn bowls, cricket, speedway, marathon runs, and the men in Lycra on your bike. Tomorrow is Caulfield Cup Day, and if you're on the punt, Uncle Jim is suggesting in the Tristark Stakes, which is race 9, we take a fancy to horse number 8, High Bell, to be ridden by Craig Williams. Go High Bell. And thank you for being with us this evening on News Geelong. Enjoy your week. Stay safe. And to the great memory of a sad loss of a dear friend of ours this week, Mr. Con Sheehan. Rest in peace, Connie, and remember to take your time up in heaven and smell the flowers. From all the team, have an enjoyable evening and a very good night.